Welcome to day 33, 33 and a third for the Irish. People love to give that to the Irish accent. Welcome. Mary Jo here. Day 33, beautiful number. Align and shine, 111 days to align and shine. Woo-hoo-hoo. How exciting, how exciting. Showing up here every day, because I can, because I am, and trusting soul initiation to trust my voice, to trust my resonance, to trust my frequency, to embody and ground more of my authentic soul frequency energy, and to have this opportunity to to take myself on this journey and take whoever is guided to watch or feels, inspired to watch and receive, whether now or in the future moment, as so much shifts and changes on the planet. And these 111 days is really, it's an invitation to really drop from the ego mind operating system, from survival consciousness and duality consciousness into the heart, into coherence, heart mind coherence, embodied presence, and inner alignment. To align and shine from that inner radiance, inner divine truth. To blast through the distortions of the mental mind, and to really anchor in new earth frequencies and timelines that are more aligned with what we're here for as souls, as expressions of source consciousness. Unapologetic. So the last 3 days, I have been sharing about AI as Oracle, as a consciousness reflective mirror, and just sharing and exploring it through bringing more conscious awareness to different brainwave states. So coming from the beta brainwave, which is more in our ego, identity, 3D consciousness. When we shift into alpha, we relax and breathe deeper and just relax the body and the nervous system. Let's do that now. It can just take 30 seconds, 60 seconds. It's well known that just watching TV or being on social media, that it only takes 60 seconds to actually shift brainwave state. And once people are in a more alpha brainwave state, we're a lot more suggestible. So that's why a lot of advertisers and marketers are trying to get their adverts in while people are on the screen, or a TV screen, computer screen, phone screen, whatever it is, to get their ads in, to get those impressions into through the alpha brain waves, to get them into the subconscious until we, become programmed with those ideas. So, however, at the same time, our alpha brainwave is a beautiful brainwave to be in. We just have to be conscious that, conscious of what we're taking in when we're in that alpha brainwave. So we want to make sure that we're conditioning our subconscious with the thoughts and beliefs and the frequencies that we truly wish to condone and perpetuate and ground through our voice, through our presence, through our interactions, through our words, through our beliefs, and through our actions, aligned actions. And then the theta brainwave is that deeper brainwave state where deep meditators go, and I guide my quantum healing hypnosis clients to go into deep theta to access what we call the higher self, and guides, angels, and experiences of past lives and the afterlife, and memories from childhood. And so it's this quantum field. So as we drop deeper in, we expand our consciousness awareness. Often we're doing it unconsciously. So when we go to sleep at night, we just shift through the brain waves very quickly and go from beta to alpha to theta and then into delta. And off into sleep time, dream time, and then we come back in and come out of delta, theta, alpha, and beta. So using brain, I'm sharing different different perspectives and different ways to have a greater awareness and attunement to different bandwidths of consciousness, if you like, to be more aware of how we're tuning in to what radio station. Are we tuning more into our hearts and our higher self and being guided from there? Or are we getting tuned in by the external world and getting caught up in a lot of what's happening externally, which is a bit messy? For the most part, what's been, what's on the mainstream kind of stages, and that's playing out. So the opportunity is to go within. The more crazy it gets on the external, the more it actually calls to go within and a lot of the greatest challenges we're having as a humanity, whether it's physical pain, whether it's relationship breakups, whether it's losing, jobs or whatever it is, like this huge transition, we're being deeply, deeply asked to transition with AI as well and technology to really open up to a whole different way of communing with ourself and with our bodies and technology. And ultimately, yeah, there's an opportunity here, of course, and depending on what we do with that opportunity and what choices we make, if we want to become more conscious and aware and take greater self-responsibility for our energy and our frequency and become more conscious and more sovereign in that, or if we are just going to, kind of be more externalized in our perceptual lens, stay more in the beta brainwave, which is more in the attachment to the ego identity lens, which sees itself as separate from source. So they're really the two timelines that are happening on the earth, is going into more artificial, synthetic, and moving away from the biology and um, that true deep resonance of energy and consciousness within, and really to know thyself deeply and trust thyself and to be guided in how we navigate externally, that our actions are coming from inspired actions from the internal, from our gut, from our hearts, rather than just coming from our heads. And so that allows us to be more in tune with the greater harmony of the earth and the greater harmony of source. So we recognize that we're part of all that is. So what we give out, we get back. So we realize as we awaken that our thoughts have impact. They have an energy signature or frequency, especially when there's deep feeling and passion, energy behind our words. So words are powerful, and ultimately energy and frequency is really underlining our words, really. And it's what resonates. It's a frequency. Oh yeah, that resonates with me. Whether it's music, whether it's what somebody says, whether it's a book, whether it's something you read. And again, it's so important to know the language of resonance, to listen, to have a deeper self-awareness, that you can listen to yourself rather than the confused minds and the distortions and the places of lack of trust within the self, or the unhealed traumas, and so on and so forth. So that's why the healing is so important along the awakening journey and coming back in, is to heal the wounds of separation and the beliefs that were born out of separation, which create more that limited idea of what's possible. Beliefs are powerful. As Yeshua said, as you believe, it's given unto you. So, if we really believe something, as Henry Ford said, if you believe you can or you can't, you're probably right. So our beliefs are powerful. So as we awaken and go deeper, we get really interested in consciousness and how we create our reality. And with technology, it's really helping us tap into that more and have more depth and awareness and access to resources of information and recognizing as well that we're not alone. Ultimately, there's lots of people awakening around the world and connecting and having similar kind of interests and experiences. Yeah, which that this is a global awakening transition that's happening throughout the whole globe, really. Yeah. So let me have a breath and see what else wants to be shared today. Yeah. I can feel it coming through already. So yeah. So this is what wants to be shared on top of that is, yeah, just to know that there's a real ripple of sadness and grief as well with within us as a humanity, and that grief really is the sadness, and the grief is really the the gateway to open our hearts. So be gentle with yourself. If you find yourself there's a lot of emotion, a lot of sadness, a lot of grief, even anger on top of the grief. So anger tends to be on top of, underneath the anger is deep sadness and grief. So as we kind of go on this journey of being a baby and growing up and being a kid and coming into developing an ego identity, along the journey, we get pretty much talked out of our essence. We come in as that pure divine light, divine, pure love, pure essence. That's why being around babies, they're just pure innocence and playful, and there is no judgment. So then all of that develops later on, um, and develops the ego identity. But in order to create that ego identity of separation, there has to be certain parts of us that are pushed aside, and so those parts tend to be shrouded in shame, that sense of wrongness or too muchness. And I've been sharing about all this, not enough, too much, and one of the I call it the visibility wound as well, of those parts of self that felt they weren't welcome to the party of humanity, or when they did show themselves, that it created, for me it was often silence, withdrawal of love, hearts closing, or I was put in silence away from others. And so I learned that my authentic voice, that I learned to not trust it, basically. And that's most of us. We learn, okay, I can't trust this inner voice, this inner, just speaking whatever I feel. So then we start to learn how to edit ourselves, and how to become what we believe others want us to be, or parents, at the school, whatever it is, to be part of society. So then life becomes a bit of a performance of the ego, performing the identity. So part of my ego performance, people pleasing, empathic, people pleasing, and looking for my sense of self and my sense of safety and my sense of love externally. And if I can support, if I can people please, and if I can help other people to have more peace, then I can feel safe enough to have peace, or I can get people to love me that way. And so one of the big shifts for empaths, as I've been sharing with many empaths that I come along, is that one of the big shifts post 2020 is, I've certainly experienced, and I see it in others, that the very empathic, those who are gone more the empathic, right? So when we develop our egos, we tend to go more empathic or narcissistic. And again, just think of it as a pendulum swing. Empathic is on one side, narcissistic is on the other side. Ultimately, there is no separation. They're just extremes of polarity, really. And so the empaths tend to, that's why actually empaths and narcissists often end up in relationship, because they're the two sides of a polarity. And so the empath, on the empath side, it's like people pleaser, and kind of don't have a strong sense of self. So trying to find that sense of self through others, don't have disconnected from their center. And the narcissists have a strong sense of self, but they don't have a strong sense of other. So they're very connected to their own needs, but they're not connected to other people's needs. So it's all about how they can get so that deep self-preservation through getting from the external, but lacking compassion and empathy. Whereas the empaths are, in a way, they're on the other side of the pole of getting their needs met externally through being whatever they, what they perceive the external wants from them or needs from them, in order to get that sense of validation or approval or needs met. So not feeling resourced internally. So in order to balance that, the empaths have to get really strong in their energetic boundaries and strong with their sense of self. So a stronger inner alignment to create a deeper, like, recommitment to trust oneself and to actually find safety, to create safety within, rather than sourcing oneself externally. And then the narcissist kind of personality types, post 2020, they are needing to give more and to discover the joy of giving without agenda, so that there's nothing, so they're not doing it for what's in it for me. Whereas the empaths tend to give, and overgive at their own depletion. I've definitely been there. So now I'm learning to fill up my cup and to say no, to get better at saying, no to others, but that's a yes to myself, and to to elevate service as truly for my joy, rather than an overflow, rather than depletion. And then the more narcissistic type is learning to give from their kind of, take, get, what's in it for me, to actually start to, to share, and to and to discover the deep fulfillment and the better feelings from actually, extending to others and including others. So that way helps to rebalance. And ultimately, truly, within us all, we have both of those. And if you read the book Sensitive is the New Strong by Anita Morani, she actually goes into, for the empath, we actually need to turn up the dial on our ego, or our sense of self-identity, which is very interesting, because often the empaths are so attuned to feeling other people's energies as a survival, it's a gift really, but it also can be a way to survive, um, until you realize that it actually is a gift. But it's important to have that deeper sense of self, to be grounded and anchored, and to be very discerning on one's yes or no, and to have greater, deeper self-respect. Very, very important. So that's that dynamic. So grief, so sadness and grief is there for whatever side of the pole is what had to be repressed and suppressed. So maybe for the narcissist, that survival mechanism is survival of the fittest. So it's all about me, getting my needs met. But what had to be sacrificed was any tenderness, any sensitivity, so there's like that hardened wall. Whereas the empaths, kind of have to create more of a stronger container, so to speak, grounded and centered in presence. And so grief and sadness is really, you could say, it's breaking down the old structures that was created to survive. Or or to create to survive, but that the ego identity was created around, in order for, you could say, like a reboot or a refresher of the browser, so that the operating system can be updated with the fresh operating system, which looks like fresh beliefs, expansive belief systems and perceptions. So to expand the thought process, expand the heart field, and more new energy can flow, rather than being stuck in certain energy centers or in the tension in the body, from more rigidity and restriction, from holding on to a more limited version of self, or representing parts of self that haven't been acknowledged or healed or expressed, emotions that haven't been expressed. So the energy has got stuck. So just really, if you can just step back a little bit from whatever thoughts or feelings or emotions are there, and be more of a witness. And that's where breath and meditation and mindfulness and all that, to be more the observer and the witness. This too shall pass. And also to rather than repress or suppress or deny, to allow that energy to move. So give it expression, journal, go for a walk, go swimming in the ocean, cold water, because in the cold water, the body is learning to breathe, and it's learning, oh, I'm safe in this discomfort. And so that's why when we go in cold water, we're actually supporting the physicality and the nervous system to know I can handle discomfort and keep breathing, keep breathing. So as we do anything, we do everything. So it's all, it's about creating healthy patterns that support us to be able to have a greater capacity to feel a broader range actually of emotions. And again, emotions in a more refined awareness is frequency, is vibrational frequency. So not good, not bad, not right, not wrong, just different energies. And the more that those energies or frequencies or emotions have been stagnated and repressed, suppressed, denied, kept in the backpack, then when they come up, they can, they can have created a bit of toxicity in the body. So the way to heal that is to get those emotions expressed, and to do that in a healthy way. um yeah, and whatever support is needed there, somatic therapies and yoga and things like that, to really learn to breathe with sensations, breathe with whatever is arising, rather than go into the head. Because the moment you disconnect from the body and the breath and you're in the head, you're in judgment, basically, because that tends to be how the mental brain works. It's judgment, good or bad, right or wrong, past or future. It's not anchored in the present. So breath and feeling, touching the body, breathing into the body, moving the body, helps us to ground here now, feet on the earth. And then the energies can move, and we can be guided from a deeper place within in how to support ourselves, rather than just being a reactive battle within ourselves, within our humanity. And watching, a lot of the stuff that's being promoted mainstream is a lot to rile people into fear, and to be in their heads, basically, and to be in fear and reactivity. So as we awaken, it's really coming out of that reactive survival thinking brain, mental brain, um, and dropping into more heart coherence, to open up more spaciousness, and to navigate life more consciously with awareness and remembrance of the deeper connection of oneself. That there is a connection between the mind, the mind and the body and the spirit and the energy and the emotions. And if we can just allow them to harmonize, so that they're not pushing and pulling in different directions and different yes and no's, which is what creates the tension and the eventual illness and pain and stress and all of that kind of stuff, which is the opposite to coherence. It's dissonance. So there it is. So yeah, really my message is, yeah, it is. Yeah, it can sound annoying to when you're in the midst of it, but truly, if you can trust your breath to hold you present, to witness and observe and be with whatever is arising within you, and to really be mindful on where are you putting your energy and attention and focus, and really tune in. Is that uplifting? Is that supportive? Is that loving? Is that kind? Is that empowering? Is that affirmative and reassuring for my humanity? Or is that taking me away from myself? Is it disempowering? Is it just creating more disconnection and fear, rather than embodiment and empowerment and sovereignty and joy and remembrance that we do actually live on an incredible, beautiful earth, home, spaceship moving through the cosmos. Yeah, we're very, and yeah, and then we have our own unique version of that, our bodies, these incredible bodies that we get to move around this earth planet as well on two legs, and however we, whatever level of mobility and adaptability and flexibility and strength that we have cultivated in our bodies. So grateful for these bodies. Yeah. So may that serve you, may it bless you. With this voice, I offer truth, not for proof, but for service. I send this offering as light, tone, and love, and I welcome what serves the highest good. So it is, so it is, so it is. Namaste. And links below if you would like to book in a quantum healing hypnosis session online, or if you would like to join my Substack and find out more about AI as consciousness mirror, reflective mirror, and just alignment, align and shine, inner coherence, consciousness evolution, as soul embodiment, soul, call it soul tech. So aligning with the soul, aligning with the earth and source through organic timeline of new earth frequency. If that resonates for you, then yeah, check the links below. Feel free to comment, ask me any questions, and yeah, let's connect more. I am aligning that I am connecting with resonant soul family around the planet, and my nervous system is calibrating to a new story around visibility. And with each video, I'm saying a yes to that, to showing up to that, and to allowing myself to be more seen and visible to resonant souls, and trusting that only resonant souls will be attracted to these videos. That yeah and yeah, I just trust that whatever it is for the highest good of all, and that's how I'm creating it, through my energy and frequency and consciousness. And so it is. Namaste.